Hello, welcome to CLS Projects. Today we're going to use some aluminum foil to make a Faraday cage to see if it can actually block AM and FM radio signals on different types of radios. Really old radios, sort of modern-ish radios, and automatic scanning radios that you just press a button and it automatically finds the channel. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the Faraday cage. Originally, I was planning to use aluminum foil and cardboard and plastic just to make an actual box, but I don't have cardboard or plastic, so I'm just going to make it out of aluminum. So alright, so we've made our so-called box. It's not the greatest, but it should do. So, you might wonder how we're going to get the signal, or at least the audio, out of this. Well, first, we're going to start outside of it, and then we're going to use a spider plus an aux cord to plug straight into the headphone output, which will allow us to have the radio inside of the box with audio still coming out. Now we're also going to just cut a floor for it. That should be enough. Okay. So we're going to put that there. We're going to open the antenna. Going to turn it on. Now this is a very old radio. My great-grandfather had it. So now we're going to turn on this. Now the cool thing about this is that the audio, when it comes out, it'll create what do you call it? Plumes of water. So right now we are on AM radio, also known as amplitude modulated. Alright, so we got something. You can sort of hear it. So, obviously, you can hear it. You can still hear it without the antenna. You can still hear it, and now let's see. So fully encapsulated in tin foil, you can still get through. Now this might be because AM radio has some different signals than FM properties than FM radio. So we're gonna go to FM. Let's see if we can find anything. Maybe not. All right. Well, I guess we now know that this type of radio actually does survive. It does work. All right. Now we're going to try this radio, which was supposed to be the one that was going to be this one, but this is one from the 1980s. This one was from the 1950s, or at least to my knowledge. So this should be able to pick up a lot better signal. I mean, when I tested it yesterday, it was a heck of a lot better. So, starting with AM. Found the same station. That's insane. Okay, so we got something. We're gonna see, as you can see, you can hear it. Nothing. I didn't even have to put the top on.
I'm trying to do that. I don't know if they want to.
I don't even need a top for that. That's insane. So as you can see, it's still getting some signal, which shows that the radio is still working, but
It's right at check for 500.
that's it. And I feel like the reason why it works is because this has an external antenna, this has an internal antenna. So as soon as I put it in there, it's blocking everything. I guess it's just so much antenna that it's being offset. So now we're gonna go to FM and see if it does the same. Alright, we got a signal. Alright, so, you can hear it, you can see it. Alright, so, it works with it in. No. FM radio goes right through. The AM radio doesn't. That's crazy. So we know that this does block AM radio, at least on this. So now we're going to go to the newest type of radio, which I realize now does not have an audio out. So you're just gonna have to hear it, I guess. So this uses an auto scanning function.
And you say it's not just the drugs trade; it's organised crime more widely. What other crimes are we talking about?
Auto radio. Okay. So we have this. Let's see. We still have it. It's gone. Take it out.
What are these organised crimes trying to do? Is it simply about eliminating candidates that they fear?
Okay. And then nothing. So it blocks AM radio, does not block FM radio, and if it has a massive antenna, it doesn't really end up doing much, which that's a bit odd. Maybe it's just because of the fact that it didn't pick up any AM signal for some reason, because this is an older type of antenna module, so I wouldn't be surprised. So
that one to have certain politicians.
It works. Now, let's actually see if I press scan, if it will still find a signal, because it might just not be receiving that signal. Nothing. It doesn't find. So this does work with AM radio and essentially any amplitude modulated signal. Now, just a quick thing for AM and FM radio. AM radio is amplitude modulated. It's a much easier. That's a plane. So AM radio or amplitude modulated radio has been around for a lot longer due to the fact that mathematically it's very easy. All you need to do is have a signal of the same frequency with different amplitudes, which means different maximas and minimas. So it's very easy to do. Frequency modulated is where you have signals of the same amplitude, so same maxima and minima, but the pulses within, or the waves actually within there, are at different rates than the carrier wave, which a carrier wave is a base wave that does not change no matter what, and that allows the different antennas, or in the modules, to differentiate between what's just static or what's actual music. So that's also how these, I gotta turn this off, how these scanner modules work. If it doesn't detect something, if it does detect something that's different than the base signal, or the base signal, it will then display. Now it could just be static because of interference, or it could be actual music. So yeah, I do remember correctly that the person who technically invented AM radio was Reginald Fessenden, I think I'm saying his name right, and he was a Canadian-born inventor, and it was really cool the type of stuff that he was able to do. Now, some of the payoffs between, or some of the good stuff about AM radio is that it travels very far, requires very cheap materials to do so, and it can travel through majority of materials except water, metal, and really concrete. But if you're anywhere in the world and you go out into an open field, you can get AM radio. There are some AM radio stations that you could hear from another country, and it's really cool. But yeah, the only problem is though, they're more often at lower quality, and they require a lot more power to produce. It sort of depends, only because a stronger AM radio could require just a tiny bit more power compared to FM, because FM is more digital manipulation than physical manipulation, or at least that's how it used to be in the old days. So by contrast, FM radio, not as great at receiving. You need to be really close to the station, but in turn you get higher quality. Personally, if I'm stuck in the wilderness and I have to listen to music or hear any emergency stuff, I would much rather have AM radio than FM, because at least with AM radio, you're gonna know where to go, instead of FM radio where you'll hear the static in a lot clearer tone. So, yeah, alright, this was a part 1 of 2, surprisingly enough, if you're still watching. And in the next video, we're going to see if this box, if this Faraday cage technically, works with Bluetooth signals, which would be very interesting to see, because in a lot of movies, people say, oh, just put your phone in a bag, or in a chip bag, it'll block the frequency. So we're going to see if that could block against Bluetooth stuff. So, thank you for watching. See you in part 2.